This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a boat named Fu Manchu, and I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I gave forgiveness I'd been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying, like tomorrow was a gift, and you've got eternity to think about what you do with it. What could you do with it? What did I do with it? What would I do with it? Skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a boat named Fu Manchu, and I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I watched an eagle as it was flying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. Hello, welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. This is Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. There are so many different country songs that I enjoy. So Cowboy Carter is kicking in my country earworms. So that is a song by Tim McGraw called Live Like You Were Dying. It doesn't hurt that Tim McGraw is like very, very fine. It doesn't hurt. But it's actually a very good song. I think the big misconception when it comes to Black people and music that we enjoy is that people are under this impression that we quote unquote don't like, and it's not even quote unquote, because I've heard this before where they're like, Black people don't like country music, or Black people don't belong in country music. And it's like, yeah. It's kind of hard to keep telling a demo that is part of the foundation of a lot of things that they don't belong there. And the thing about it is, like, let's be very clear, just like with pop music and maybe jazz, a lot of these places get whitewashed and people get pushed out. It's not that Black people don't belong there. It's just, it's interesting. We hear a lot of white people who are having issues with Cowboy Carter saying they want, like, why can't we have our own space? I'm like, but y'all told Black people that we shouldn't be like that. Why are we trying to, or it's low-key reverse racist, which, by the way, is not a thing, that we want spaces because of safety, not because we just want to keep y'all out. But sometimes it is not safe. It's not a safe space, right? There have been Black people in country music for years. And so the fact that Beyonce recorded with Black country artists, that really should, like, prick y'all. It's not just Hootie or Darius Rucker. Darius Rucker is not Hootie. Hootie and the Blowfish. And I can't remember if he actually explained why. He did. They explained it. But it's so funny, everybody calls him Hootie. Like, Hootie and the Blowfish is the name, but Darius Rucker is not Hootie. But if you listen to the tone of his voice, it always rang country. So when he decided to switch over to country, it made total sense. But Live Like You Were Dying is one of those songs. There are a lot of country songs I like. I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack. Dolly P, she is the genre. She's the mood in the moment. I'm not even going to do it. I was a huge Shania Twain, Faith Hill, The Chicks, a.k.a. the Dixie Chicks. And I think there's this very interesting pocket of people who love Garth Brooks. They're like, we love him. I don't know why, but it is. Tim McGraw's also one of the people. Trace Adkins is also a really good one. Luke Combs, who did a cover of Fast Car, which high key, one of the best songs ever. Tracy Chapman. It was something about her song. It was something about her tone of her voice that was just like, and the fact that Luke Combs didn't try to like just make this song. Hey, I did this song. Because quiet as kept, he got clearance to record it. Onika. So yeah, it's like Fast Car by Luke Combs is a cover, but it feels like it's a tribute to Tracy Chapman. So let's talk about a couple things, shall we? Yeah, again, Cowboy Carter, very good album. The discourse from white people is very interesting when it comes to Cowboy Carter. You're telling Beyonce, who was born in Texas, and I don't think people realize how many black people live in Texas and are cowboys who know how to ride horses, who like country music. That's weird. Y'all are telling Beyonce she is not country. But there's a couple people who literally are not from the south part of the United States that y'all don't tell that to. The guy who's married to Nicole Kidman. Beautiful man, by the way. Yeah, he's Australian. I don't see y'all not saying that he's not country. But again, he has the right skin tone, so that's why y'all not trying to. Anyway, look, let me get out of here. Let's start with Emmanuel Acho. Now, I've seen the discourse about Angel Reese. And people are acting like she walked in here and said, I'm a villain. Hate me, hate me. That's not what it was. Y'all villainized her and she embraced it. That's something different. And all on the backs of Caitlin Clark, who at not the tournament that just passed, but the one last year, homegirl talked a lot of trash. Roland Martin compared her to Larry Bird, and I was like, yeah, I didn't even watch the Shooty Hoops, and I knew about that. Larry Bird could not shut up, but I think because of the sport that he's playing, you kind of understood why that was a thing. It's kind of like you can't walk into a black-led sport and not you can't do this. You gotta have a little bit of an edge to you. Gotta have like you gotta have a chip. Larry Bird had one of the biggest chips ever. So the thing about it is, when it comes to Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese and what happened on the court, girl, it was reactionary. It was reactive, not proactive. Because Caitlin had did a whole bunch of talking and LSU shut her up. So now that the tournament is over, I've seen a lot of the discourse being Caitlin Clark when it comes to the loss. Mind you, there are how many other girls on that team? It comes off like Caitlin Clark was robbed. I'm not exactly sure why y'all thought that. On the other side, the winning team of the tournament the South Carolina Gamecocks, whose head coach is Dawn Staley, it's not really being discussed in the way that you would think. Dawn Staley. So I'm going to read an article from CNN when they talked about Dawn Staley. South Carolina's 3 titles in 7 years speaks volumes of Dawn Staley's remarkable tenure as coach. And even the beginning of this article is just like, y'all, I swear. Caitlin Clark's last dance in the NCAA dominated conversation ahead of Sunday's women's national championship game. Could the Iowa star cap off her historic time in college in college basketball with the final and so far elusive accolade, a national title? Spoiler alert, yes, because she doesn't have a national title. But standing in the way of the unstoppable force that is Clark was the immovable object in the form of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now think about this. They're only talking about one person. I'm like, I mean, she's leaving. She's going to the draft. You know who also was going? Angel Reese. I'm getting around to Watcho in a minute. The video showing that she is showing emotion is because someone asked her the question of, basically this was her last game and now she's going off to the draft. And you think about all the stuff that she had been through in the last year or so, last couple of years, because as much as MM250 wanted to say, like, embrace being a villain, you're kind of ignoring the fact that she got death threats. You're ignoring that. Or people using her likeness in porn. But yes, Emmanuel, she should literally take the L on the chin when literally that is what she was doing. Anyway. Unbeaten throughout the season and obliterating all that came against them, Dawn Staley's squad is the dominant team in the women's game. And Sunday's game at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio, was more proof of the juggernaut Staley has built in Columbia, and with South Carolina vanquishing Clark, not the team, Clark and Iowa, girl, what? 87-75 to finish the season as undefeated NCAA national champions and 10th team in women's college basketball to achieve that feat. Although we haven't been the most talked about team in this whole women's basketball year, Staley acknowledged in an interview with CNN on Monday, will be talked about a lot in the offseason. I'd much rather have it that way after having won another national championship. Notice she said another. It's the program's 3rd national title, all of which have come with Staley at the helm, and one which vaults the former 6-time WNBA All-Star into the bracket of the legendary women's college basketball coaches. The magnitude of the moment seemed to dawn on Staley, pun intended it seems, as the confetti rained down on her team after another successful season, breaking down in tears as her championship-winning squad celebrated reaching the mountain top yet again. Despite having an otherworldly recent record, the Gamecocks are now 109-3 over the last 3 seasons. The culmination of last season's campaign, in which they heartbreakingly lost to Clark and the Hawkeyes in the Final Four, has loomed large for Staley and her coaching staff. With that recent history playing in her mind throughout this year's tournament, the emotions caught up to her before and after Sunday's season finale. I had a little bit of PTSD, and I addressed it in real time, Staley told reporters. I mean, it's heavy. You carry the burden of every single one of your players, all the coaches and staff members that put so much into our team. And it's a heavy load to be undefeated to finish the job. And you get emotional because you just want that for them, and you're happy that you're able to, because only one team wins a national championship. There are so many conversations you have with parents and with any significant person in our players' lives that the rigors of the season, you just have to face that music with them. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes it's just a really hard conversation. Then once you win, this is the reason why. It builds trust amongst everybody that is involved in our players' lives. I started watching The Pivot, and mind you, this interview with The Pivot is a little bit old. Dawn Staley, when you listen to her, is a fascinating person to listen to. You can hear the Philly in her. You can hear that she actually cares about people. She cares about her players. She is all about them. She's like, I just want my girls to win. It's like, you kind of know it's very interesting. She kind of reminds me of Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin seems like a player's coach. Dawn Staley also seems like a player's coach. She seems like she cares. The thing about this is, Dawn Staley's team, she rebuilt her whole team, went undefeated after the rebuild this season, and won. And notice, that's not getting a lot of press. No one's talking about how impressive Dawn Staley is as a coach. The narrative is Caitlin Clark's dreams were crushed. Because for some odd reason, when you watch white players in a black-led sport, everybody wants them to win. They're like, oh, look, you dominate. It's like, no one says it, but you kind of just know what they're implying. And it's always funny because you just go, but then y'all talk about white people when we be rooting for everybody who's black in a sport. Even the Tiger Woods of it all. Like Tiger in golf, where seemingly, is he the only black golf player? Probably not. Is he the one everybody sees? Yes. Or a black driver in NASCAR. Bubba Wallace. Mind you, his name is Bubba. That's not his real name. I think that's his nickname. But yeah, you see that. People are just like, whoa, this is a lot. Or swimming, gymnastics, tennis. Hello. Sidebar. Nick from Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, when they did that Decades party, when he dressed up like Arthur Ashe, I'm like, y'all don't see it? Because now I can't unsee it. Right? Dawn Staley is very impressive. What her team did this year is impressive. And the fact that people are more concerned about Caitlin Clark and her quote unquote not getting what she deserves, which is hilarious when you think about it, because this is a team sport and not the phenomenon. Because one, if this was, Kim Murky from LSU, I bet y'all would be talking about this right now. But because it's a black coach, dominantly black team, undefeated, won championship, y'all not talking about that. Because the thing about it is that, and again, I'm somebody who doesn't watch the shoe hoops. I didn't know her team went undefeated until they mentioned it after she won. I'm like, wait, time out. How is this not being discussed going in? And they were undefeated last year, I believe, and lost to the Final Four. Dawn Staley deserves her flowers. And she's impressive. I think her coaches have said she's like a mom. She gives off mom. I don't want to say she gives off auntie. I'm auntie age too. I'm looking at the difference. Dawn Staley's got a whole decade on me, and she looks younger than me. No shade. To myself, it sounds like. But she's impressive. And I'm happy that her squad are getting one. Her squad got another championship. But I want to hear some more of these girls' names, honestly. So let's talk about Emmanuel Acho. So Emmanuel decided to say, and I think I mentioned this last episode. It still bothers me. Because it came out and he just thanked everybody who's respectfully put him in his place. Sir, shut the hell up. I think the reason why this pricked it again is because I was listening to Higher Learning with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. And the thing about it is, I get it. When you are friends with someone who is problematic, you got to step away. And I'm watching Rachel do that. Because one, I didn't forget that whole conversation, uncomfortable conversations with a black person. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't need you to step and fetch it. Because guess what? You can have all these conversations on the YouTube. Somebody see you walking down the street, they can say that they feel unsafe with you. Emmanuel Acho is just, he just makes me roll my eyes. But as of this recording, he still has not apologized to Angel Reese. Sir, do not get up at your desk and just thank people for not, cussing my ass out when you didn't like my take. That is not apologizing to Angel. That's not acknowledging that you took a video out of context to prove a point to basically punch down on a black woman. Let's not do that. Let's not say that we did, right? Because one, Emmanuel Acho is of a certain age, right? Emmanuel Acho, now mind you, Angel Reese is under 23 years old. Emmanuel Acho is 33 years old. So you're over the age of when your brain is fully developed, and he is still a bozo. This man literally decided to join in on the dog pile of Angel Reese. And it's like, sir, you really, really, really need to get the fuck out of my face. White people don't need no help punching down on a black woman. They don't need your help, sir. Anyway, so there is a podcast called Fresh and Fit. And it's hosted by two men who who seemingly are like, we are experts at X, Y, and Z, elemental P when it comes to women. Neither one of them are married. Neither one of them have children. Neither one of them is like, it's kind of like, for me, it's like Nick Vile being a relationship expert. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? This man was just on the, you know what? Let me shut that up. But these two, if you don't watch the podcast, you don't have to, but you've probably seen clips of these two men. One is black. One is, I think he said Egyptian. Girl, I can't. Whew, Lord have mercy. They are guys who fall into the red pill gang, or the quote unquote alpha male. Most alpha males don't have to announce that to you. Alpha males do not have to walk around going, I'm an alpha male. You know it by the way that they conduct themselves, right? Well, they're being discussed this week because one of the hosts apparently is in a Maury situation. So Fresh and Fit gives advice to men about finances, dating lives, and their thing is they were helping men navigate women, finances, and fitness. I'm like, how long have you been with the lady you're with? They're single. Okay, so and I've heard a lot of these men who say single women cannot give advice. Single men can't either. If you're saying single people cannot give relationship advice, that's not just for women. It's men too. So let's talk about the Maury Povich of it all. In April 2024, a Instagram model by the name of Daisy Chen put out text messages between her and Walter. Walter is the black dude. Myron is the Egyptian. I don't know. Yeah, because they both are like, I don't like black women. I don't like dark. Like, they don't like black women. They especially don't like darker skinned black women. Yeah. So Daisy Chen exposed Walter on her IG page when she told him that she was pregnant. In the message, she attached a photo of 2 pregnancy tests that showed us positive. So she sent it to him, and she said, "You always told me you wanted me to be your baby's mother. I loved you and did everything to be a good girlfriend. Now this is happening. You walked away. I think I want to keep the baby. I don't want to kill alive. I want you to think carefully and take the responsibility." He said, "I'll call you shortly." She said, "Take your time." He said he cannot and I quote, "I can't have kids. I don't know why that's a thing. I'm not exactly sure." So a lot of people are asking, like, why would she put this out? So she said, "I'm in a strange country all alone. If I don't expose this, he will continue doing that to other night girls. There will be more women get hurt. After a few days, he asked me to move out. He stopped coming home. He disappeared for 3 nights without explanation. I called him. He never answered when I did nothing wrong. When I was so genuine, I left my work behind in China to pursuing this relationship. So I moved out, booked the first flight to New York City. On March 30th, I had a pregnancy test is positive. Here's what happened." So, you probably seen the clip of Myron going like ape shit because homegirl put these messages out, but also put out, I guess she had a recording of their phone call when he was like, "Well, I don't want kids. I can't have kids." She's like, "I don't want to kill my baby. I can't do that." Like basically, and the thing about it is, if people are like listening to how she speaks, yeah, if English was not my first language, yeah, I don't know how I would sound. It would probably be broken, and it may be like in the wrong text or grammatically incorrect. It does not matter. Y'all are understanding what the hell she's saying. So basically, he ghosted her after she said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." It's so funny with some of the red pill dudes. A lot of them like hate. They're very much, "Let me tell you how to school these women," and seemingly want to use the 1987 version of birth control, which is pulling out baby. It's so, like, the thing about it is that I believe people are saying, the people that watched it, that these two preached about vasectomies. Interesting that you're like, "I don't want kids," but you didn't have a vasectomy. Okay. All right. After her post went viral, Chen herself appeared in a live stream with prominent streamers Destiny and Just Talk, where she claimed that they planned for this baby. He knew it. The reason why I'm posting this is what I want everybody to know, that he's a liar and he's a cheater. I don't care about the money. The thing is, I want him to behave like a man. Then Walter responded to the accusations during the Fresh and Fit live stream, where he and Myron invited a divorce attorney, James Sexton, to discuss the legal ramifications of the ordeal, who claimed Daisy committed a felony by recording and disseminating a phone call with Weeks. Now, I don't know what state they're in. If it's not a two-party state, I don't think she did anything wrong. It has to be a two-party state. But let's see. In the stream, Weeks admitted that he shouldn't have gotten Daisy pregnant, but ultimately claimed he would keep his mouth shut about the situation despite having information he wanted to share with his fans. So, you've probably seen the screaming video of Myron where he's screaming. He's mad and like, "Y'all get mad at me. That's why y'all ain't got shit. I am not, like, these guys are behind my back, so I'm not going to desert them." I don't think anybody questions that. We get, girl, for the last few years of your broadcast, you have literally demonstrated it is bros before hoes, because you treat all women like they're whores. You treat women not as people. Women are people. Women are female humans. They don't treat women like they're humans. They treat women like they are property and, receptacles for their man juice. So I'm not surprised that these men who seemingly have demonstrated they don't care about women because they don't think women as people. I'm not surprised by this. The thing about it is, if you don't want kids, there's several different ways to make sure you don't have them. You could either not go raw in somebody. You could get a whole vasectomy, and I think there's a couple of ways that it could be reversible if you, like, down the line want to have kids, or wrap it up. See, there's way too much contraception for this not to happen, right? Because one, they'll be quick to call other men bozos, but then do this bozo ass shit. See how this works? Hilarious. Funny to your girl. Funny to your girl, right? But the thing about it is, when you think about Fresh and Fit, the one who seems more visible to me, and I'm not somebody who watches the show, is Myron, which is not the guy that we're talking about. Apparently, this happened to him about 3 years ago when someone says he got them pregnant and she was lying. I'm like, if I literally slopped on his knob like corn on the cob, when I tell you the amount of I would take it to my grave, and I would never tell anybody this in my spirit, but also someone like him I would never sleep with. But okay, I'm going to shut up. But we'll see how this keeps rolling out, because now that she is a sex worker, I'm like, whatever her occupation is, it does not stop the fact that you were in a relationship with this woman. Doesn't matter what she was doing for work. I'm not exactly sure why you think that should be in discussion. It's not. But yeah, have fun with that. Okay. So for anybody who knows me, I am someone who likes the reality show. I like the Bravo. Oh, sorry. One more thing about Dawn Staley. Somebody by the name of Dan Zashesky asked her at one of the pressers, and it was on the 6th, so I think this is before they, let's see, well, that's Saturday. So he asked the question. I'm like, he asked Dawn, a bitch from Philly, what she thought about trans athletes in sports. He asked her. And she's like, you trying to get me all caught up. And here's the thing. Because I think the question was around, do you support transgender women? And had no point saying biological males, which, girl, okay. If she would continue, like, letting them play in basketball. Now, let's ignore the fact that in basketball, women are masculinized anyway. They play a sport. Soccer, basketball, football. Yeah, because there are female football leagues. In these sports, women are already masculinized. So there's that. The other thing is, her answer, I think, was what people were not expecting, because I think they think all female athletes are probably going to respond like Martina Navratilova or Anna Marie Wiley. Dawn said, if you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports and vice versa, you should be able to play. That literally is it. That's done. So then, of course, people picked up on him like, what about the women? Why are you not keeping women's sports safe? When did women's sports stop being unsafe? And then and mind you, she's in D1 ball. And I think someone pointed out, it's like 33 trans women out of at least 500,000 female athletes. Again, how is this not safe? The other thing I always want to ask, please give me the stats of a trans woman coming into a sport and dominating or eviscerating the competition. Not just placing, not maybe winning within 15 seconds, but literally trouncing all of them. You will not find it, because that's not a thing. The other thing is, it's funny, we don't have this conversation about trans men going into male sports. The transphobia pops up when y'all want to talk about trans women. The misogyny pops up when you talk about trans men. Because why are y'all not, like, y'all don't think it's unfair for trans men to come into sports like boxing, MMA, basketball, football? No? Okay, very interesting. Why do you not think that? One, because they think, if they're thinking of trans women as biological males, they're thinking of trans men as biological females, which means that you think they're weaker anyway. See how these phobias and isms work. And also, sidebar, transphobia, when you say I'm not afraid, a phobia is a fear or aversion. I have an aversion to flying bugs that are extremely big. I have an aversion to them. Also somewhat a fear. But yeah, phobia can be fear or aversion. And people who are having this very vocal thing of like protect women's sports when y'all literally don't want to pay women to play said sports. That's not the thing. So, because during his video, he said one of the major issues in female sports is transgender women. And I'm like, time out. Not pay equity, not coverage equity, not support of female sports, but trans women playing in sport based on the gender they identify as. Y'all really are left behind. You really are. And I applaud Dawn saying, Coach Staley saying, y'all trying to get me caught up. And that's fine. He's like, it's kind of like she didn't really need this right now. And I'm glad she's probably still getting shit about this. And I hope she's not getting too much of it. You know, she's like, I'm probably getting shit about it. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. If you identify as a woman, you should be able to play the sport that you identify in, and vice versa. If you're a man and you identify as a man and you want to play in a male sport, you should be able to play. That's Stephanie saying that, not Coach Staley. The fact that she's still hung, mind you, Dawn Staley used to be in that. She used to be a player. She's still an athlete. She probably is still in good space. She probably could tear somebody up. She's a girl. That's fine. Y'all can just bring it to me. That's fine. Come in my DMs if you want. But the fact that y'all want everybody to be hateful, and if they're not being hateful, they're on the wrong side of history is super weird. Because being on the side of hate is never the right side of history. Never. All right. Let's finish up this episode with some Bravo high notes. And not really all that high, but we're talking about it. Okay, so Vanderpump Rules. I have to see. So I'm looking at Pump Rules. I think we are up to... I think we're halfway... Oh, no, I don't think we're halfway through I don't think we're halfway through the season. Let me see. Hold on. I want to see if we're halfway through the season because now I'm trying to figure out how many episodes have we been. Oh, wait. Okay. Today is the 10th. Okay. Got it. Okay. So we are on, this is season 11. We are up to episode 11. I don't know if it's considered, and they have shot the reunion. So either we have like maybe just a handful, because I think we did get a mid-season trailer. I think we've seen it. So I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure how many more episodes we have. Oh, wait, sorry. We have, let's see. We're at episode 11. So it looks like we have 4 more episodes after this. Looks like Vanderpump Rules is going to be wrapping up by the end of April, early May. And I think I know the reason why is Jersey is coming back May 5th, which technically is a Sunday, and I find that interesting. That's going to be, but yeah, that's probably the reason why. But it looks like we got maybe 4 or 5 more episodes left of Pump Rules. Everybody knows I have a soft spot for Shishu, but I promise you, she needs to shut up. She needs to be quiet. Lala it's very interesting because Lala went from literally chomping at the bit, wanting to, like anytime Tom Sandoval breathed, she had something to say, right? And now it becomes like, oh, we should all get along, we all should do this. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. When you and Randall broke up, you told Schwartz that he was dead to you because he wanted to still play pickleball with him. Lauren, You have not owned property with Randall. You moved into his house. It's easy for you. It's a lot easier for you to leave than Ariana, whose name's on that fucking deed. That's her home. So there's that. And I've watched people kind of I've watched how people have turned on Ariana and saying like, she stole Sandoval from Kristen because he was with Kristen. You mean him and Kristen who cheated on each other for the good majority of their relationship? She also fucked Jax twice and lied about it. That relationship, girl, I need y'all to be... I need y'all to be for real. Y'all are literally putting up this whole, oh my gosh, Ariana. I'm like, girl, that dumpster fire of a relationship that they should have been left. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Y'all not doing this with Kristen and Sandoval. And this whole thing about the house, I'm like, girl, y'all act like y'all don't know what the hell this means. Like, girl. So there's stuff coming out. Like, Kristen had a lot to say last year, but also, let me stop. For Pump Rules, we're watching them do it over the weekend. Sandoval came out in March. A few weeks later, they did the reunion. 3 months later, they picked up cameras in the film. That's what the fuck we're watching. Some of y'all literally won't let shit go from years ago, but y'all want Ariana to let go of it because it's now making you uncomfortable. Well, she got a new dick. That don't mean what he did was not shitty. Why y'all act like she shouldn't be mad at this man, especially because, yeah, she can get a new guy. She get a new guy. He can treat her like the world. But if you think she does not need to heal from the fact that she didn't plan on dating this other person, she was building, they bought a house. They were building a life. She's somebody who doesn't seemingly want children and was ready to just settle down and have children with the idea. But let's start with the house and the fur babies that are her babies. And I want him out the fuck, Tom says. Why are y'all acting like that? It's so weird to me for y'all to like, she just build a bridge and go over it. Here's the thing. The only reason why we're seeing this is because Tom Sandoval refused to leave the show. It's not, I don't think it's a bad thing that he didn't leave the show because it's kind of like, yeah, put money in your pocket. But here's the other thing. He was still touring with that cover band that he was doing. He ain't like crawl nowhere, try to make things better. It's like, girl, But some, and you know, I know Kristen is on the Valley and they're just like, girl, Kristen is awful. I was like, I guess. But there have been things where it's kind of like, so, but last April, Lala said on her podcast that about what was going on, the living situation. Now, this is what she said. Sandoval won't leave the house. I don't know if he will now, but for a long time he was like, I plan on being here all week and I plan on using every room in the house. Kent shared on her podcast, this is her Give Them Lala. Kent shared before claiming that Maddox no longer had a safe space to mentally recharge amid the drama. Sandoval's ex and former VPR star Kristen Doty shared more on the pair's living situation on her own podcast. Everybody got a podcast. Dowdy previously noted that she tried to have Maddox's friends get involved in an effort to get Sandoval out of the house and give Maddox the space she was seeking. We tried having a mutual friend, one of Ariana's college best friends, rather than someone too close to them, reach out to him. Just saying, listen, dude, you gotta at least give her a couple of hours heads up when you need to come home and pick things up. You need to let this rest for at least a few weeks. Allow her to grieve, allow her to heal. And this is what Kristen said on the Viral Files. And of course his response is, it's my fucking house. I own half of it. I will come and go as I please. And if she has a problem with it, she can leave. Now, this is all from last April. Kristen has not changed her stance. Lala has. And the thing about it is, imagine you blowing up your life. It's like, Sandoval, I don't want to hear anything out of it. You fucked this up. Because if it really was that bad, why did you sign a deed with Ariana? Why didn't you just leave? Because at this point, it's not even about Rachel at this point. It's about you. You don't love her enough to not like embarrass her and disrespect her. And the fact that nobody is sitting here on that is very funny. Haha. Weird. But not funny, haha, funny, weird, that y'all are literally saying, like, y'all don't recognize Sandoval's getting a sympathetic edit. Not exactly sure why, because he's an ass. Yes, it is your house. However, you don't get to really fuck up the house and then get upset that she's like, fuck you. And oh, by the way, this whole thing with that damn dog. The dog was not in her bedroom. You had to go in there for the HVAC thing. You let the dog in and then left the dog in there. She didn't have to move the curtains with wood skewers that will harm dog because the dog was not going to be in there. What's not clicking here? I'm very convinced. Just say, okay, yeah. And yeah, I want to see this reunion because for some reason, but this has been going on all season. Lauren from Utah is really a piece of work. Do I blame Sheena for enjoying that someone's having her back 150%? No. Sheena, this is not about you either. So when someone asked about her, like, I guess Lauren's new stance on Watch What Happens Live, she said, when you see the reunion, and she's always said nice things about me, time out, Sheena, it's not about you. This is about what she's doing to your friend. That's supposed to be your friend. Lala, you said that you didn't want Schwartz playing pickleball with Randall, and you can't compare your situation with Randall to the situation with Sandoval, because Randall, one, is not a cast member, and two, you lied about him for quite a few years. He wasn't even showing up on camera, so he is not. This is not the same. When I come back, let's talk about Potomac. So, Potomac, a.k.a. Potomac, a.k.a. the cherry blossoms of Bravo. I'm not even going to hold you. This season was hard to watch as a fan of the franchise, that a day one fan of the franchise. Let me say that. As a day one fan and not someone who clocked in season 5, it was hard to watch. But I think maybe season 5 clock-ins, it probably was hard for them to watch too. For me as a day one, it was very hard. The season has been hard. The reunion has been a little bit difficult for me. All right. So the only reason, actually, and I've seen a clip about what's happening on. It's been a few sneak peeks, and I'm just like, girl, I cannot. It's like sometimes I have to go, girl, I cannot, because I swear it's like, what in the blue blazes is happening right now? So in the second part, it picks back up with Mia talking about the strangeness that is her and Gordon and Ink and how he factors in. Now, I could have swore that she said that her and Ink were high school sweethearts and she had left Ink for, and I don't know if she straight out said this or insinuated that she left Ink for Gordon. And I guess then they reconnected a few years ago. I'm not sure what's going on. And if you remember the beginning of this season, Karen brought up that I heard that Mia was dating a rapper. So then you see, and if you remember from the finale, you see clips of them discussing Gordon's former plight with cancer, and he's saying, hey, it's like if you need to have another person, I guess, to, clean her pipes, is fine. But I don't think Gordon thought that her and Ink were going to reconnect. I don't think he did. Because I think from Mia's vantage point, you said I could have a man, so I don't know why you have an issue. And she was like, I'm sorry, not she. When he said, yeah, anybody but him, and I was like, I feel like y'all should have put this like in the agreements. Oh, girl, you can fuck any dude in this city except him, which would have been weird when you think about it. So the fact that Karen had, quote unquote, I had heard that Mia was with a rapper. Now, sidebar. Y'all are cooking my girl Robin. Y'all are. I'm like Rodney. He has a soft spot for Ashley. I have a soft spot for Robin. Because here's the thing. When we think about all this, this is why I was not on board with Candace when she's saying Robin participated in a plot so nobody would talk about her issue with Ron. Girl, please name any husband on this show that has stopped people from joking or even discussing the stuff that Juan has been doing off, either between seasons or while the show is airing. No other husband's shenanigans have stopped the jokes about Robin and her roommate or wandering Dick son or Juan, period. No husband. Not even the one who literally got sued for SA because he touched somebody allegedly on production. So there's no shenanigans that would have stopped it, because here's the thing. You got G, you've had Michael. Y'all still want to talk about Juan. So yeah, that's why I was like, Candace, nobody's going to stop anybody from discussing Juan. Nobody else's husband can do that. But y'all cooking my girl Robin. The thing about it is that people are saying Robin couldn't ask me no thing about my husband. Like, yeah, it's like y'all haven't watched past reunions. She be asking them questions. You know who also asked them questions? Ashley. Ashley will ask them questions. The thing about it is, like, Robin is not a unicorn here. Hello? Because wasn't it Karen who said, where is Jamal to Giselle on the reunion? Wasn't that her? It's like, the thing about it is, they do question each other about their mates and their relationships. They do. But it's always funny because it's like, Robin can't be asking no questions. Well, hell, Ashley can't be asking no questions either. Neither damn sure Mia cannot. Giselle, absolutely not. None of them, outside of maybe Wendy, maybe Candace, and NECA, can ask questions or have, like, can we get some clarity on things in the relationship? Them three is like, they the only ones that notice. They ain't the ones asking. Not really. NECA is treating this like her audition for her YouTube channel. But yeah, you don't see Wendy questioning nobody else's marriage to a certain extent. I mean, she doesn't. Let me say this better. If y'all ask Wendy a question, she gonna answer it. She's very heavenly with it all. So that's the first thing. And it's so funny. And I'm like Rodney, he got a soft spot for Ashley, but when she wrong, and he'll say it. I love me Robin Dixon. I'm a contract employee who I feel like I'm going to get, rift, or, it's going to be a reduction in force, and, with my contract, either my contract will end or they're not going to hire me for the Dixon district because allegedly she's not coming back. Still then, it was like, I think, and I don't know if it's just my age or how long I've been watching reality, but the thing about it is, everybody can't be a force multiplier. Everybody can't be the main storyline. Everybody's cannot be the relationship we focus on every single season. Everybody can't be that, which is why I like a balance, which is why I like a Robin Dixon. Because seemingly, off camera, everybody kind of fuck with her. Or have fucked with her, or will fuck with her, or do fuck with her, right? Because as much as Karen can't keep Robin off her fence, because she says she's a fence. Girl, that tag on makes no sense. When that whole stuff with Ray and his taxes went down, who did she call? She called Robin. Or Robin called to check on her. So when they say they don't check on each other, I'm like, Robin seemingly seems to be checking on people. When it was, of course, with Giselle, that's a given. Candace, she didn't check on Wendy, and I'm like, girl, y'all need to stop. She did check in on Mia. She checked in on Kiarna after the whole tussling, Mind you, she wasn't even there. She's like, girl, you okay? Candace, she has checked on Sharice, everybody. Seemingly everybody has cool with Robin off camera or have some sort of relationship that people don't kind of know about, because on camera it's not like y'all hang out a lot. Girl, it's so weird. So yeah, that whole, I'm sorry, I feel like I got to get my rambling notes out before I say anything more about Potomac. But yeah, that was one thing, is like no other husband shenanigans has stopped y'all talking about Juan. Here was the other thing. Someone said G came to reunion. Gordon literally had an interview with TMZ that it sounds like he arranged. Him and Juan are literally not the same people. Juan would never. But here's the thing. I don't think Chris Bassett would do it either. Ray damn sure would not. I don't think Nneka's husband, I think it's Ike, no. Happy Eddie, he would happily decline. So, yeah, no. Gordon is a whole different animal when it comes to the Potomac husbands. So there's that. Juan and Gordon are literally not the same. Hell, Michael Darby probably wouldn't even do it. He only went on that DC news station to basically say, hey, I didn't do this. And coincidentally, he has no film that shows that he did. You know what? Let me shut up. Anyway, so it started with that. And then, Mia, the thing about it is, Mia, does she lie sometimes? Yes. Does she exaggerate things? Yes. Does she misconstrue things? Yes. But I find it interesting that she will literally lay everything out. Now, I will say this. The whole thing about Jeremiah and his paternity, Gordon is not the person who put that out. That would be Wendy. I was like, time out. Why are you saying this? And then Karen said, like, kids should be off limits. So the thing about it is like, I say Wendy's the one brought it up because she's the one who brought this up. And mind you, I'm saying that because she's the first person to say it in the filming. However, when the husbands come out, I have a feeling that Gordon would have said it anyway. So it's not too, for me, it's not too much on Wendy. Because it's like Wendy said it. It's like, girl, you're the one that first introduced it. However, the man who scheduled a TMZ interview, I have a feeling he would have brought this up. He'd have brought it up so quick. So, yeah, I think during the husband's package, he would have brought this up. So then they talked about, and then here comes Giselle's package about, one, her journey with, one, losing her dad, and two, her oldest, her first baby going off to college. Now, the whole thing with Giselle's dad, I was like, it's probably going to trigger me in a way that's going to make me go, y'all going to have me defending Giselle and her neck in a minute. But it kind of didn't. I think the thing that did trigger me with Giselle is when she was talking about everything that was going on with Jason, where she's like, I don't have the bandwidth. And I think people thought like it was just because she was Giselle. I'm like, no, as a person who also lost one of her heroes, if not her hero, her prototype of a man. Yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to care about another man because I'm still heartbroken over losing my first love. And, for a lot of people, if you have a good dad, he's your first love. And he really is. And so you're just, mind you, me and Giselle have like an age gap, but I can connect with her on that. When she said, girl, I don't care, I believe her. And I'm like, nope, I agree. It's like, y'all can say it's like a Giselle thing, but it really is like a grief thing. It's a grief thing. It's a heartbroken thing. Any way you want to look at it, it's like, no, I agree with her. I'm like, girl, I do not care what the fuck Jason, like, boy does. And I don't know who said it. I think it was Rodney who said he didn't give off that he dated black women. He don't. Because this is literally the same guy who in the Winter House shot up Lindsay Hubbard's house. He shot up her club. She she got pregnant, and she, like, it was like as soon as she found out she was pregnant, a few days later she lost the child. Now, she never disparaged Jason, but for some odd reason he wanted to. It was so weird, and it was the weirdest thing ever because I'm like, it was like the only reason why we knew you were the daddy is because he watched Winter House. And I didn't watch Winter House, so I barely know who the fuck he is. But I found his wanting to like wave, like raise the flag, very opportunist, because I'm sitting here like, she never once badmouthed you or said this was your fault or anything like that. I have no idea why you're doing this right now. But you wanted a moment. I think, honestly, he's with Giselle because he kind of also wanted a moment with her, too. I feel like Jason is one of these people who wants moments. But you got to do it with other women because you just can't be the moment by yourself because you're no Kyle Cook with an E. I cannot believe I just said that. Zell. Zell. Hello. Nar. Girl, did I just say that you... I don't know, sidebar. It's like I say that, and I'm not just saying that because Kyle Cook is an August Leo like myself. I'm saying that because if you look at like Kyle's trajectory on Summer House, yes, he's with Amanda, but let's be very clear, he the moment by his damn self. Jason don't have that ability. Hell, Carl really kind of doesn't either. You know what? Let me shut up. This is about Potomac. So you have Giselle doing this thing where she's talking about like losing her dad. And this is where I connect with Candace. There are some people that if they see you cry, they're going to cry. There are some people who can like basically pull themselves out of the situation and just be like, if this was me, what would I do? You watch Candace do that. It's a very human moment. She's talking about losing her dad. Candace, and it could just be the way it was edited, but I think this is how it happened. She started tearing up when Giselle said she was there to hold her dad's hand when he took his last breath. That got me. Not because I was there for my dad's last breath, but that was heavy. So I was not surprised that somebody like Candace, who seems, even though she can be, to some, overly emotional, she's in touch with her emotions. Because one, you didn't clock that Karen was kind of tearing up too. Or crying. I don't know if Grand Dame squeezed out a tear. I don't. But you only mention it because you know Candace and Giselle don't fuck with each other. I understood why, and I don't know, it might be just because we connect on, I don't know, I keep doing like Zodiac shit with this. But Candace and I are similar. It's kind of like, I could fucking hate you, but if you're sitting here talking about your pain and grief, I would be just like, I feel terrible for this person. Or just like, this is a lot. Somebody who is seemingly a little bit more in touch with their feelings than Candace is, she probably ain't think nothing of it. And the thing about it is, Andy, you ain't had to point it out, but I have a feeling somebody in that production room is the one who pointed it out to Andy. Like, Candace is crying about this. You need to like investigate. I'm like, what's to investigate? This woman is talking about losing her dad. There's no investigation needed. And it wasn't like she made a face. Or like if she's like, girl, I don't want to hear this no more. It could be, like if she was making a face while Giselle was talking about her dad, then that is one thing. But she wasn't. And so it's kind of like, we didn't need to talk about this. So they went from talking about her dad and talking about the daughters. Now, because one is like, Giselle's reaction to Candace crying is honestly one of the most Virgo things I've ever seen in my life. When you're a Virgo, please do not write to me and say that's not true. Yes, it is. Because for some people, some zodiacs are characterized as being heartless and they're very like, I'm stoned. Kind of like Virgos, some Tauruses, some Capricorns. I know Capricorns, and I'm like, I know some that are probably the most emotionally mature people I've ever met. Some of them actually very, you can still put Aquarius in there, whatever, right? Or overly emotional, like Cancers. And Geminis are all over the place. Never mind. So I'm like, I don't know why she thought this. Anyway, so then when he brought up the whole thing about Candace and Wendy making faces while she was talking about her daughters, Giselle made it seem like they were making fun, their faces because of the daughter. No, bitch, they were making faces because of you. Girl, it's like, I don't want to hear her talking. If I don't fuck with somebody, I don't want to hear them talking. And the only telltale sign is that they probably felt away. It's because they looked at each other. It's like, girl, y'all need to have a plan. But they don't know. They didn't know she was going to be talking about her daughter. Because when she was talking about her daughter, I did hear Candace pipe up like, oh, okay. So when Wendy said, I congratulate your daughter on getting accepted, Giselle saying that didn't happen. I'm like, Giselle, you also said that you didn't say that Chris made you go into a room and they pulled up the tape. They're saying they didn't have the tape because probably cameras were down when she said it. But the thing about it is kind of like you go, Giselle, why would Wendy lie about something like that? That's the dumbest thing to lie about. No, she's not lying about that. She said it. That's it. And I don't know why you won't just accept well wishes from Giselle, from Candace and Wendy, because when you and Karen weren't cool, you did not accept when she said stuff. When Karen was literally holding on by a sheer thread because she lost 2 parents within 60 days and came to that reunion, she got up, she had to leave. Giselle was the one who went in the back. And Karen embraced her, but then afterwards she's like, I didn't know who that was. Did you jump down her throat, Giselle? Because I don't remember her doing that, because I'm like, Giselle's a lot of things, but is she a terrible person? At the time, I was like, no. Because I found it very interesting, of all the people on the couches to get up and go check on Karen, Giselle was the one who went and got up. I was like, yeah, because this is how, for me, that's how I was sitting there going, yeah, a lot of this animosity that y'all allegedly have is just for the show. You know it's just for the show. Because, one, if you really, truly didn't like Karen, you wouldn't have got up to go give her a hug. And just put your, I know this is hard for her to go through. And the thing about it is, I feel like if Giselle had gotten up and people had gotten up, and if she saw Candace come back there, she'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? I don't think she would have just accepted the embrace of someone coming to check on you. I don't, but, that's neither here nor there. And she brought up the thing about, I'm talking about my daughters. And no, bitch, you're talking. That was their standpoint. And the thing about it is, Wendy and Candace, y'all don't have to defend yourselves to Giselle, because, one, it doesn't matter what your intention was. It doesn't matter what was not happening. Giselle has made up her mind, and she is standing 10 toes down on y'all ain't shit, even when y'all are. That literally is not what's going on. And the thing about it is, to a certain extent, Giselle, you are weaponizing your daughters. Because, I'm sorry, you didn't care about Wendy's children when you had no problem bringing up whatever the hell rumor is with Happy Eddie. You didn't care about Chris's children when you were trying to insinuate that he's some kind of sexual assaulter. You weren't thinking about them. So I kind of fucking don't care. It's like you were kind of weaponizing them in a way, meaning not like I wasn't. No, you were kind of weaponizing. How dare you? I'm talking about my children. You're making faces. I'm like, no, you're talking and they're making faces. You could have literally be reciting the cure for cancer, and I think they still would make a face. I'm sorry. I would have pulled out my phone and played Candy Crush. I'm like, let me look down because too many cameras on me. Probably because they didn't think nobody was paying them any attention, right? So let's talk about the whole Candace and Robin thing. Can they move forward? Yes, they could have if they both listened to each other. Robin, you are too close to Giselle. So by affiliation, she's like, if you so close to Giselle and you know what this raggedy ass bitch is going to do to me, I don't want nothing to do with you. I kind of don't blame her. The whole thing with Homegirl, the Canadian person, I have to keep saying this. This was not her storyline because it didn't happen. She didn't find out until after, the stuff happened at a certain time frame. She didn't find out until after cameras wrapped. Cameras were down for the season. This was not part of her storyline. And her and Juan talked about it, and they kept it moving. So it wasn't a storyline because it was grand opening, grand closing. There's a lot of little shit that happens on these housewife shows that don't come up during the season. But for some odd reason, y'all wanted Robin fired for something like this. It's like, girl, please. It's like, no. It's like, this was not her storyline. But I find it hilarious because y'all always say Robin don't bring no storyline. I'm like, girl, Uchiwali, one mic. Which one is it? This was not her storyline for season 7 nor 8. Because To Robin, it was kind of done. And I know where the question came from, Candace, when it happened on part 1. But for some, it is a valid. It's a valid question. You did say that as a couple, y'all can control what's being shown on the camera. You can. There's a lot of stuff that we do not see. This is not Big Brother, where they have Big Brother After Dark, and you go to a website and you watch them 24/7 on a continuous loop. It's not the same thing. So, yeah, it's a valid question. I get why she didn't answer it, because it was where the question was coming from. That's neither here nor there. Candace, I found it very interesting that when Candace was doing a time frame, at no point did Robin say that wasn't correct. She said, "Yep, that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened." She kept saying it. Here's the thing: that whole the discussion that they all don't have the bandwidth to have colorism keeps kicking y'all asses because y'all not listening. There's just like there's no reverse colorism. No reverse racism. There's no reverse colorism. Lighter skinned people, benefit from colorism. If you're like, oh, well, I'm getting discriminated against my skin tone, it's like, yeah, no, it's not the same thing. Colorism affects darker skinned people. Light skinned people, what's the word I want to use? Couldn't think of the word. Benefit from colorism. You benefit by people thinking you're less of a threat. You benefit with being seen as more beautiful. You benefit from seeing as not as much of not a threat. You're more beautiful. You're more palatable for some people. Hence why you see a lot of biracial or lighter skinned activists in big places. And you're like, how did they get here? I'm like, because for some white people, if you're lighter, that means you're closer to whiteness and you're not as quote unquote threatening. And I'm like, have y'all not listened to, okay, you know what? Let me shut up. So you benefit from colorism. Basically, you benefit from people hating darker skinned people so much that they treat them like either they're terrible people, they're threats, they're villains. If they're a darker skinned woman, they're more masculine. Like you're seen as the big bad wolf. If you think about villains, it's always a darker person and it's dark and whatever. However, this group, much like a lot of groups, y'all are not the people to have this conversation. So when she brought up the whole thing about what she said, mind you, and they played it again, Candace never once said they were colorist. She said, I don't think they're colorist. She literally said that. She did. I remember her saying it. Can your actions be seen as colorist? Yes. And so I think I was in a Clubhouse for a while. This is I've been off Clubhouse for over a year. But so maybe like a year and a half ago, someone said, name an instance that demonstrates colorism on Potomac. And I was like, oh no, I have a very good one. Now, Robin brings up here at the beginning, like, I've gotten into it with Karen and Ashley. And it's like, huh. So the example that I want to give is actually Robin's issue with Ashley. Ashley made it her business to season 1, look up Robin's finances. And then season 2, she stayed in the blogs, looking up things with her and Juan. Robin got pissed. Robin went down to that alligator restaurant with her sidekick, Giselle G. Money Wells, to tell her to stop it. Now, Robin was in her face. She had her finger in her face. You lucky there was no motherfucking cameras around, because I think she would have beat her ass. Because one, Ashley, like that thing that they say that Candace is too mouthy. I'm like, girl, tell me y'all didn't watch season 1 and 2 of Potomac without telling me that. Because then you'll be like, girl, there's no way in hell you think Candace is the most mouthy person on here. She's not. Or she is not the only one that someone's like, girl, talk shit, get hit. That's the thing. Ashley knew who to play with. That's neither here nor there. When Ashley told what happened to her mother and her brother about what happened, she said, Robin got a little aggressive. She downplayed it so quickly. Fast forward to season 5, Wendy enters in. Ashley had been for seasons doing this thing like, y'all a bunch of broke bitches, and my husband is a rich man. Now, when Wendy came on the show, she had just had her baby. This was like her third child. And it was like, oh, you're not a new mother. I'm like, yeah, but her daughter, Cameron, had been in the NICU. So not only did she, like 3 or 4 months after she had her baby, Cameron also went to NICU. That's a lot. I don't care if she's the first baby or the 12th. A child in the NICU is pretty serious. So when they were having the, I guess the girls' weekend at Monique's house, she didn't know she could bring her child. Ashley brought her son. And, Wendy felt away. Like, wait, I didn't know I could bring my like, mind you, this baby's under 6 months old, because I consider her a newborn. I could have brought my newborn? And it was like, she felt away. But her issue really should have been with Monique. But again, Ashley kept, Ashley being Ashley. So they were sitting at dinner and they started having an argument. Now, mind you, they were not sitting directly across from each other, maybe perpendicular. Ashley said, "You are ferocious." She said that to Wendy. Now, you did not characterize Robin as ferocious, and Robin was literally in your face, and you did not. You downplayed that. And the thing about it is that if we're being honest, when it comes to the colorism thing, please understand. It's not just the cast. It's the fandom too. Because it's like, the thing about it is like, y'all kind of downplayed it. And now all of a sudden it's like, Candace brought up colorism. No, she didn't. It's always been there. People just didn't want to talk about it. Or they didn't have the people on the show that would talk about it. Until Wendy and Candace got there. Please understand, in different blogs and recaps, we've been talking about this for years. Potomac is the first all-black franchise for Bravo. It also had a whole bunch of light-skinned women. So it was the first black franchise, and it's the light-skinned franchise. And before you come to me and talk about Atlanta, baby, please understand, one of the OGs of Atlanta is Kim Zolciak, a whole white woman. They're not the first all black. They're not. It's Potomac. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Don't do this with me. So it's like there's other instances of colorism, because I always said, because Monique was the one when there is no issue with colorism. Monique would have understood there's an issue with colorism if she had hit Ashley. You would have seen a whole different conversation if Monique had literally mopped a floor with Ashley's forehead after she was insinuating that Monique was a drunk driver. Make no mistakes. I made no mistakes, and Monique knows that. That Ashley. Because if she had literally got into a fight with her, because if you think about like either her violence or her bouts with almost violence, it involved the Green Line Bandits, but not in the way that a lot of people think. It involves them because it seemed like right after they are laughing at the situation, that triggers her in a way. It did. It triggered her. It really did. To a certain extent, it's kind of like if in your mind, the popular girls and or mean girls of your school look like Giselle and Robin, I could see why. But this is not about Monique. Anyway, Robin and Candace cannot move forward because they're not going to listen to each other. You cannot resolve a issue if you sit with, I am the one at fault and you're wrong. Both of them are wrong and right at the exact same time. Both of them. Because Robin, do you blame her? And I get it. Robin's one of those people that, like, I don't care who you're around. It's like, as long as you're nice to me, I'm cool with you. She don't operate that way. Seemingly. I don't know. But the thing about it is, based on what happened with Chris last season, why are you it's like, do you blame her? Because, baby, after season 2, you weren't really too keen on Ashley after what she did season 1. So, I don't even know what to say. You should kind of understand that. You're both fire signs. Y'all should understand that, but it seems like they don't. And also, sidebar, is that reason why we didn't really see too much on Candace's health scare? It's like it, and that was a very good, important discussion to have because of Candace's age. Candace is she is not within the age range of when we start asking women to get sonograms. She's actually, she's not in the age range. Chadwick Boseman was not in the age range for the cancer that he succumbed to. So it's kind of like, even with the test, it's like his age, they wouldn't have tested him anyway. For Candace, they wouldn't have, like, she wouldn't be the age for sonograms. I will never forget. I had indicated, like, do you have a history of, I don't know what it was for. I said, do you have a history of breast cancer in your family? And I said, yes. So it was my grandmother. And so so because it was my grandmother, they scheduled me for a mammogram well under 40. Well, not well under. I think I was like maybe 37, 38. So here go the tech. And she's telling me, I was like, yeah. And she's like, when was your grandmother diagnosed? I said in her 80s. And she looked like, wait, what? You shouldn't be here. And I was like, the thing about it is, it's kind of like, it wasn't for me. I didn't feel a lump. So it wasn't like oh my God, I got to figure out what's going on. It was just because I just clicked a box on a form. But even then, what if I did find, like, the thing about it is, what if there was a lump? And what if I didn't know, and it could have been there for years and I just didn't notice it, and then all of a sudden it's at a stage where it's not, either it's inoperable or terminal or not at a level where, like, medicine could help. Yeah. So it would have been a good conversation. Candace v. Robin is kind of like, y'all don't have a real issue, but now y'all do. Because Candace, this is how I say Candace is wrong. Ma'am, you jumped on the bandwagon for her to lose her job too. And you're her actual friend. You're a random blogger. Girl, she don't care about you. You should, because some of these bloggers be going, like, to war with a lot of people in these comments, and I promise you, y'all shouldn't. I could see why she would have an issue, but it was kind of like, if you give Robin, like, you know what, Robin, I'll understand it. Like, if you saying I should be fucking fired, I'd be like, girl, I would understand it. Robin, you should understand how the optics look. You're very close to two people who made it their business to talk about her husband. And then we find out, and it's the way that it's being spun, that, hey, you had an issue with your husband. We didn't even know about it because it was opened and closed before cameras. After cameras went down one season and cameras went up on another one. This is not a fireable. It's like, this is so weird. And I don't know, people bring up Kenya and her wedding. Here's the deal. From what it sounded like from Kenya, it wasn't that she got married in the off season. It's that they didn't want to pay her. And she's like, who the fuck y'all think y'all are? I don't know, the way that Kenya talks about it seems like more like a money thing. And for other people, it's like, oh, she got married, so they like, oh, no, you ain't gonna share this, we're firing you. It's like, One, I didn't think she did deserve to be fired for that either, quote unquote. So there's that. But it seemed like Kenya made it seem like it was more of a money reason why she didn't come back the season after. And then she came back. So it was like, So I also, during this thing where Karen said, we are the best group of women to have this discussion about colorism. I said, girl, I know you fucking lying. And when Wendy said, no, we're not, thank you. And a lot of people, not a lot, but I saw a couple people say, like, Wendy, you can't talk about it. Notice she said, this group is not the group to have this conversation. If I wanted to pick a group to talk about colorism, if it's a black group, I probably would pick either the cast from Married to Medicine, LA. There's a reason. I maybe would pick the ladies from Martha's Vineyard, Martha's Vineyard, or Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I would pick them. But yeah, it wouldn't be Potomac. To a certain extent, I think also maybe this iteration of Black women in Atlanta probably would be a better group because it would involve people who are willing to listen. I don't know, but Yeah, Potomac, absolutely not. Because not when they asked about colorism, you think we have colorism, and a lot of y'all said no. Y'all are not the group. Y'all are not the group. So I'm glad that Wendy buttoned Karen right on up, saying the group as a whole, as a collective, don't have the range. She wasn't wrong about that, because y'all don't. So then here comes the husbands, and this is at the tail end where the husbands come out. And again, they're like, why is Juan not here? Y'all brought up like Juan should be here. It's like Gordon scheduled a TMZ article. He is a whole different animal. And for anybody who has watched previous seasons, Juan, I think, only came to one season, and he looked visibly uncomfortable the whole time. And his answers were kind of defensive. He had this look on his face. And all I was thinking is like, Juan is never coming back. He's never coming back to these reunions. And the thing about it is, because it's kind of like Robin and her storyline was low-hanging fruit, no one expected him to come back. It's like, oh yeah, Juan ain't going to be here. I'm like, no, he's not going to be here. Because it's like, he could say, oh, it's my schedule, but it was more like, I'm not coming back to deal with y'all. See how that worked? I don't blame him. I do kind of blame him, though. Okay, I don't and I do. I don't blame any of the husbands not showing up, because I'm like, girl, I am not a cast member. Y'all do not pay me. However, as much damage control as Robin has been doing for literally over a year, because you told her a story, and I'll be very clear, you repeated exactly what he told you. The least your ass can do is show up. He could have shown up and he should have. However, I am going to sit here and go like, there's some other women I know that I like. Not anybody personally. I can say on reality shows who don't have the best husbands, but they stand 10 toes down for them. I could sit here and go do the whole, as black women, we are beaten down with the he's a good man, Savannah trope. And you're probably like, that doesn't apply to Juan Dixon. I'm like, girl, yes, it does. If you're a black woman and you have a man by your side, every black man will fall into, he's a good man, Savannah, because they'll look at, well, is he a good provider? I'm like, I am not happy with this person. Does he pay the bills? I am not happy with this person. But do you have to worry about money? I am not happy with this. See how that worked? It was kind of like ignore all the other stuff. So episode part 3, we're going to get more of the husbands, the stuff that we didn't want to know about Gordon and Mia. They're also going to talk about the fight. I saw a clip where Giselle was like, Deborah, Wendy, and Candace. I'm like, time out. How is Candace in this? And she ended up saying, oh no, let me just remove Wendy. I'm like, this is all on Deborah. Homegirl came there for a moment. She wanted a moment. And the thing about it is, the cameras were not up, but they were still mic'd up. She said, do you have something to say to me? No, I do not. You do not come and get in my face. I said no. She wanted smoke. Here you go. Kiana just happens to be the one. And the thing about it is, Candace didn't know that anybody was going to fight her. Because one, I don't think Kiana was really looking, I'm fighting her for Candace. She literally started fighting Deborah because Deborah threw a glass at her because she had a cut on her head. Yeah, I'd have been fighting your ass too. This ain't about Candace. Who the fuck do you think you are putting your hands on me? That's where we are. So it's kind of like, I understand why, like, Candace like, no. I'm like, I didn't think anybody, she's like, I didn't think anybody was going to fight or stand up for me. And you want to know why? Because look at historically, who has stood up for Candace? Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll give y'all 3 more seconds. Yeah, you're going to find nobody. Giselle, you were not the most supportive of Candace. Let's be very clear. Season 5, the move was to ice out Candace. Everybody on that cast, except for Wendy, was all on board for that. Monique fucked up the thing by putting her hand on Candace. If she had never put her hands on Candace, if she had never got violent at all, if there weren't all these little, like, the little arguments that led up to Candace being assaulted, please understand, Candace wouldn't have been back season 6. They would have did exactly what they wanted to do. They were going to ice out Candace, Monique included. So when people are like, oh my God, what they did to Monique, time out. Monique was all gung-ho and getting on Candace being iced out. Another example of colorism, y'all never did that to Ashley. Ashley was hell on wheels. She was all in everybody's business. Karen and Robin especially. Y'all never sat down and said, we're going to have to ice Ashley out. Y'all literally said to her, maybe if you have a baby, maybe you'll calm down. Y'all ain't said that to Candace. Y'all like, oh, we got to ice this girl out and we got to put her in her place. Interesting. Again, part 3 is coming up. This was just hard to watch. Because one, I can see why Candace left. I wouldn't be surprised if Wendy leaves. If Robin is leaving, yeah, that means my contract is up in the Dixon district. But also, what else can we tell about Robin's story? She is married to Juan. She's not going anywhere. She is building businesses, opening things up. A lot of people don't really care about that. I do. But yeah, what's her next part of the story? Nobody. The people that seemingly need to come back is Mia. Notice I only said Mia because people want to see the continuation of that. Wendy don't need the show. She don't need to come back either. I like Dr. Osefo. I like 4 Degrees. I loved it when she talked about them 4 Degrees. Because what always got me is like how she bragged about 4 Degrees, but y'all loved when Monique bragged about 4 Homes. How interesting. But yeah, that's the Bravo high notes, because I just wanted to talk about Potomac. If anybody's watching Below Deck, let me know. Let me know if anybody's recapping, anybody talking about it, because it's not a bad season. But I have thoughts. But y'all, this has been a Mocha Minutes podcast. I will be back next week. I am thinking of, am I going to do a recap or basically my swan song to the Dixon District? Or is it going to be something else? Who knows, girl? But thank you so much for listening, guys. And I will be back. Bye.